Okay, you're set.
Okay, thank you, Rosie. I would like to call to order the County of Chautauqua Industrial Development Agency Board of Directors meeting. This is a Zoom conference. It's April 27th, 2021, and it's a little after 10 a.m. I'd like to have a roll call as we have quorum. Mike Metzger is here. Gary Henry? Here. Hans Sauer? Here. Mark Odell? Here. Stephen Thorpe? Here. Jay Churchill? Here. Dennis Rack? Here. Brad Walters? Here. Let the record show there are 8 members present. We have quorum. I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the March 23rd, 2021 minutes, which, thanks to Rosie, you have received prior to this meeting in your packets.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mark. We have a motion by Mark. Do we have a second?
I second.
Motion by Mark, seconded by Jay. Any further now for discussion, comments, changes, corrections? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Motion carried unanimously. Now let's move to new business. As Adam, I'm sure, wants to assist us in this, and this is the we'll have Rich and Miller present this, please.
Yeah, so I'll let Millen talk about the resolutions, and if there's any questions of Adam, he's here to talk about this. We had a preliminary resolution on this project before. This is a 5 megawatt and a 3.75 megawatt solar array in the town of Harmony. We've been working very closely with the town supervisor. He's very much in favor of this. They're excited about the project for what it brings to the landowner, what it brings to the town. And we did the preliminary resolutions last month. And this month we have 2 resolutions and a deviation hearing, I believe. So, Adam, if you'd like to say a few words about the project and what's happening, that'd be good. And then we'll turn it over to Millen to talk about the specific resolutions we have in front of us today.
Great, thank you. Good morning, everyone. We're excited about this project that we refer to as SL Asheville in the town of Harmony. It's the landowner and the town are equally excited about this prospective solar system, and we think it'll bring great value to the local community as well as offer green electricity to the surrounding area. I'm happy to answer any questions that there may be. So I'll open it up if there's any questions for me. Thank you.
I know we had our opportunity at a previous meeting, so thank you, Adam. These are tremendous projects, and we can't thank you and your company enough for being big community citizens and also economic development with the project. Any questions specifically? I see Mark, please.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Adam, thank you for being here today and the resolutions we have going forward today, and thank you for your past work with the county with our solarized projects in the past. They have been good. One question, I see we got a lot of your projects to the top of the National Grid queue, and that's good. It's hard to get there sometimes. You're there, that's good. One question, and again, this will stun the board, but I have no objection to any of these resolutions. Okay, but just a question, and this has come up in prior projects, and this comes out of the backside, Adam, really to measurement verification or M&V. Once these projects are commissioned, is there a way? I mean, can you inform the board if we can get some performance data? After we got a year on our belt, so we can quantify future projects going forward. Is that something you may be able to provide to us?
Yeah, so are you referring to the performance data of the solar system itself?
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Sure. So, as you know, we will be carefully monitoring the system, and since that's the way we will be compensated for building the solar system is the production value. So, we'd be happy to share that data. One thing that Solar Liberty has always felt the importance of is to educate the community about solar energy first and foremost. So we would be happy, and we'd also be more than happy to provide tours of the system or anything of that nature that the community would be interested in doing. And also the educational value for the local schools. We're happy to participate in curriculum development or any kind of educational items that we can assist with. So the long answer to the question is yes.
Okay, thank you. I'm satisfied.
Yep.
Well, and that would be something we could incorporate into our documents, correct? Looks like
Dylan?
No, I'm sorry, was that a question? The answer is yes.
Yeah, if you wanted to work with Adam and his crew to, reflect what Mark would like to see, I think that's a great idea. And Adam, we will take you up on that. I would love to see a finished solar project. I've been under a lot of wind turbines in my day. I've seen wind turbine holes in the ground and all that. But I would love to see, once you start construction, actually, we'll take them out, and then when it's finished, to have the board come out and see, because I think the visual is always much better than a picture. So we'll love to pick you up on that.
That would be great. Our solar system a little more quiet than the wind turbines, but obviously we support all renewable energy technology.
Certainly not as tall. That's for sure.
That's right.
So I have one question that's been kind of eating away at me. What happens when you get a heavy snow with the solar panels? Because I know I've asked this before, but I've never actually been totally convinced that the snow really just slides right off. I mean, do you have to get off and sweep it or shovel these things off? Or
no, we really take that into account when we're doing our production modeling. There may be times where the snow will be on the panels, but generally speaking, they are at an angle, at a 20-degree angle. So I have solar panels, and so I do the analogy similar to a car's windshield. When you start the car and start to warm it up, the windshield is usually what the snow will slide off of first, just because there's a little bit of heat. So when our solar panels start generating a little bit of electricity, they create a little warmth, and the snow will eventually slide right off of it. So oftentimes you'll see a system where the rest of the roof still has snow on it, but the solar panels will have shed it.
okay, no, I appreciate the explanation, and I want to believe that. It's hard for me to believe until I see it for myself.
Yes, we agree, but solar has proven to be a great fit for our Western New York climate.
Yeah, I can attest to that. And Mark, that's an excellent idea, that we should be keeping progress reports not only on all of our alternative energy projects. As Mark asked, and as soon as we're hooked up at Fredonia, we'd be glad to have everyone come out and take a look at the solar field. And also we have a backup system. So we have both, which is sometimes unusual. Are there any other questions of Adam? Or we'll let Dylan eloquently explain the solutions, which could be difficult for Dylan, but we'll ask him. Okay.
Oh,
Okay. All right. Dylan, please.
okay. There are 3 resolutions. The pilot deviation, because this is a deviation from our UTEP,
So in a second, Mr. Chairman, I guess I would suggest that we ask if there's any members of any tax jurisdictions that would like to be heard on the deviation. But again, the deviation is that this is going to be $4,000 per megawatt. And we take notice of the fact that the developer has agreed with the town, separate apart from our pilot, to enter into a host community agreement with the town. My understanding is that the town is all for this and has expressed a lot of support for the project. And in fact, we had the public hearing last week, and no members of the public appeared. So the first is the pilot deviation resolution. The second is the secret resolution. Based on the size of the project, this is a quote unlisted action. We've worked with the developer and looked at their EAF supplemental materials, and you'll see in the secret resolution we did not think that there was any adverse effect on the environment, and therefore are recommending a negative declaration. And the last, probably most important, is the final approving resolution. And if that is passed, we then will go straight to documents and close this fairly quickly with the sales tax, mortgage recording tax, and real estate tax abatements.
Thank you very much. Any questions of no one? All right, hearing none, let's address the resolutions. I'm going to go right across my screen if I could, please. Jay, if you could, please.
Mr. Chairman, before we do, can we just ask, is there any member of any affected tax jurisdiction that would like to be heard?
Oh.
Okay.
I didn't see anyone on our Zoom.
Yep.
But
just
thank you.
Yep, for the record, we've now asked.
Yep, thank you for getting that on the record. Much appreciated. All right. Jay, if you could please move resolution new business A1.
Okay, resolution 04-27-21-01, Solar Liberty Asheville LLC pilot deviation approval.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by, let the record show that Kelly Farrell Du Bois is present. So we now have 9 members present. Thank you, Kelly. We have a motion by Jay, seconded by Kelly. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Mike Metzger abstains. Gary Henry?
Aye.
Hans Sauer?
Aye. Sorry, it's a little past a year and I'm still trying to figure out how to use the button.
No problem. Mark Odell?
Aye.
Stephen Thorpe?
Aye.
Jay Churchill?
Aye.
Dennis Rack?
Abstain.
Kelly?
Aye. Aye. There you go. Hello?
Yeah, Mike muted himself.
Yeah,
This drives me. So,
Didn't want to make Hans feel out of place.
I took all my direction from Hans on how to work this. To let the record show that there are 7 votes in the affirmative, 2 abstentions, motion carried. Stephen, if you could please move new business A2.
Resolution 04-27-1-02 SL Asheville LLC secret resolution.
Thank you. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion made by Stephen, seconded by Gary. Any further discussion? Go to a roll call vote, please. Mike Metzger abstains. Gary Henry?
Aye.
Hans Sauer?
Aye.
Mark Odell?
Aye.
Stephen Thorpe?
Aye.
Jay Churchill?
Aye.
Dennis Rack?
Aye.
Kelly Farrell Du Bois?
Aye.
Brad Walters?
Aye.
Let the record show 7 votes in the affirmative, 2 abstentions, motion carried. Dennis, if you could please move new business A3.
Resolution 04-27-21-03, taking official action toward and approving the straight lease documents for a certain project for SL Asheville LLC and or its affiliate.
Thank you. Motion's been made by Dennis. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Stephen. Any further discussion? Roll call vote, please. Mike Metzger abstains. Gary Henry.
Aye.
Hans Howard.
Aye.
Mark Odell.
Aye.
Stephen Thorpe.
Aye.
Jay Churchill.
Aye.
Dennis Rath.
Dane.
Kelly Farrell Du Bois.
Aye.
Brad Walters.
Aye.
Let the record show that there are 7 votes in the affirmative, 2 abstentions, motion carried. Now let's move to, I have to ask you, Adam, is there a town where you're not putting a solar array? Maybe that would be easier to do.
Well, we're being based here in Western New York, we're very excited to bring the benefits of solar to our local community. I know there's been a lot of development in Central New York and closer to the New York City, so we're very happy to be bringing these benefits to our local communities here. So if there is a town that we may not cover here, please let us know, and I'd be happy to approach them.
No, that's great. We really appreciate this. Rich and Milling, would you like to present new business B?
Yeah, I'll talk about this first, and then I'll turn it up questions to Adam, and again, Millen can talk about the resolutions. We were approached by Adam about 2 projects in town of Dunkirk. Adam had been working with Dick Pearl. The town had a moratorium. I think the moratorium's over there, right, Adam? But they are still working on the project. But the town supervisor did want us to proceed ahead with these. Again, they're very excited about them. So, again, we won't move forward with any of these projects unless the town tells us that they would like us to proceed. So, we're working very closely with all the town supervisors on this, on these projects. So, Adam, if you would, could you tell us about these 2 projects, please?
Again, thanks, Dick. Rich, I'm sorry. These 2 projects are in the town of Dunkirk. The first one we refer to as SL Arc, however, it is in the town of Dunkirk. It's going to be a 3.75 megawatt AC system, so it's a little bit on the smaller side compared to the past project that we are pursuing with SL Asheville. However, it's a similar setup where we'll be leasing the property from the landowner and providing solar benefit to the community. The other project is a 5 megawatt AC system, which we refer to as SL Dunkirk. This one is a bit unique because we are leasing the property from the Chautauqua County Fairgrounds. So there's a section behind the fairgrounds that was not in use. The lots from National Grid were perfectly situated to site a solar system there. So there's a lot of benefits to this system as well, which we're very excited about. I'm happy to answer any questions about the 2 solar systems, if there are any.
Adam, you mentioned that this is a little bit smaller. What is your target size that you traditionally look for, and how much acreage would that equate to?
So right now, the utility and the Public Service Commission has set the size system maximum per interconnection to be at 5 megawatts AC. So a 5 megawatt AC system will vary in size from approximately 15 acres up to about 20 acres per system. So we try to stay within as close to that 5 megawatt size system as we can. The couple constraints are sometimes the land that we're siting the system on, or also what's available from the interconnection queue from the utility. So in terms of SL Arkwright, we were limited by what capacity was available on that line. So we sized the system, instead of being 5 megawatts, we had to reduce it down to 3.75, which is, I mentioned it's a smaller system, but it's still a great size, and it'll still provide a tremendous amount of benefits. But we can also site multiple 5 megawatt systems on a same parcel if we subdivide the property. So that's what we will try to do if the land is available.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Yes.
Adam, I have a question to that. As you know, we've seen a rush here in the last year. We have a lot of applications. We have a lot of things in the work with a variety of developers.
Yes.
How long will this last before it becomes unfeasible to put solar in because they're too far away from a transmission line, or the transmission line is full? Do you see that happening in the next year, 6 months, 2 years? When will that happen?
Well, unfortunately, we're already starting to see that. It's becoming harder and harder to find a location that has capacity on the lines. So, the lines run through multiple townships. So oftentimes it's really a first come, first serve. So whoever gets their application in first to National Grid will be able to secure that spot on the line. But we're finding that it's becoming much more difficult to find a good site to host a system. As a developer, we spend a lot of time using our engineers and on staff to locate which facilities are going to be the best to host a solar system based on the capacity available and the where the lines run on each property. So the other thing we're fighting against now is the change in incentives through the NYSERDA program. Unfortunately, the incentives are going very quickly. We get what they say is 11 cents right now per watt, and that has come down dramatically from where it first started for community solar. So developers are also in a rush to not only secure the interconnection point with the utility, but also to get the incentives to make the project pencil out. A couple of elements that we're working on here. So
thank you for educating us. I know Mark is our expert, so this isn't news to him, but it's I appreciate it for the rest of the board.
Yes, for sure. We don't know what's coming down the pipeline either, whether there's more incentives potentially from a federal level or changes to this on the state level either. So we're hopeful for some additional changes to come out in months to come, but the incentives as currently exist are going quite quickly. So that's why these projects are especially important for us to move forward in an efficient, timely manner.
Mark, did you have a comment?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, thank you on the last resolution for entertaining my request for, just back-end measurement verification. 1 year post-commissioning, if we can put that into the paperwork. We've been lacking that in the past, Adam. Against nothing against Solar Liberty or anything. It's just in other projects, we just wanted to see, okay, how are we actually performing, so we can make sure we're actually doing the right thing. That's what we're tasked for in making these decisions. One question though, Adam, with any of these projects, these are all direct AC ties. We're doing any buffering with battery storage in between at this point, or potentially in the future?
As it stands right now, the 3 applications we've submitted do not include battery storage. we don't foresee that adding solar storage at this time, but as incentives change or different policies come out, that may be something that we would consider down the road.
I think it'll be more on the policy side coming down the road as the lines are saturated. Now we can temper it and buffer it with better storage, especially since we've got domestic facilities coming online that are manufacturing these, and some right up the road in Buffalo, and decommissioning places down the street in Rochester. So the state is making the inroads to do this well and in-house. So thank you, Ed. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Okay, Millen, please.
Yes, we take both resolutions together because they are virtually identical other than the address. These are preliminary resolutions. They do not bind the IDA. They only indicate that the IDA is interested in pursuing the project. If they are passed, we will start conducting due diligence. There will be a public hearing that will be held. There will be seeker analysis that is done. And at some later point, maybe at the next meeting, maybe not, we will come back to the IDA board with the results of all of those, the seeker analysis, public hearing, and as we work through the documents and the applications, any questions that have come up with the developer. There may or may not be host community agreements that are entered into. I suspect there'll be another deviation from the UTEP, as there usually are with these. So when and if all those things are done, we will come back to the board for a formal final approval. Again, this is just preliminary and indicates that we should be moving forward with those items.
Thank you, Millen. Any questions for Rich, Adam, or Millen? All right. Seeing none, Gary, if you could please move new business B1.
Resolution 04-27-21-04, Solar Liberty Arkwright LLC preliminary resolutions.
Thank you. I have a motion by Gary. I have a second by Mark? Motion has been made and seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote, please. Mike Metzger abstains. Gary Henry?
Aye.
Hans Auer?
Aye.
Mark Odell?
Slide.
Pardon?
Aye.
Oh, thank you. Stephen Thorpe?
Aye.
Jay Churchill?
Aye.
Dennis Ragg?
Abstain.
Kelly Farrell Du Bois?
Aye.
Brad Walters?
Aye.
Let the record show 7 votes in the affirmative, 2 abstentions. Motion carried. Brad, if you could please move new business C1.
C1, Resolution 04-27-2105, SL Dunkirk LLC, preliminary resolution.
Thank you. Motion's been made by Brad. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion's been made by Brad, seconded by Jay. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Roll call, please. Mike Metzger abstains. Gary Henry?
Aye.
Hans Auer?
Aye.
Mark Odell?
Aye.
Stephen Thorpe?
Aye.
Jay Churchill?
Aye.
Dennis Rack?
Abstain.
Kelly Farrell Du Bois?
Aye.
Brad Walters?
Aye.
Let the record show 7 votes in the affirmative, 2 abstentions. Motion carried.
Mr. Chairman, before we move on, may I make a comment about the
Yes.
2 abstentions? I have discussed this matter with both you and Dennis, and I'm convinced that neither of you has an impermissible conflict. And I've given you the advice that you can vote if you choose to. You each have chosen to abstain, which is fine. But I guess I want anyone who's looking at this to understand that neither of you has an impermissible conflict. with regard to any of the three matters we've discussed.
Thank you, Millen. Much appreciated your statement and clarification. Now we're going to move to, I see Council Peterson has come on just in time for to address new business D, which is round 3 of the EDA CARES Act loans. Rich and Greg, if you could please present.
Yeah, the loan committee met on April 22nd to review our list of loans. Rosie, could you put the round 3 loans up on the screen for me? And as the loan committee said, we had approximately $2 million left to allocate. We have actually, with the loans that the loan committee is recommending, the loan committee has now recommended almost $10.4 million. No, Rosie, it was the other sheet.
It's an Excel spreadsheet.
You know, the one that has the
Yes.
breakdown at the bottom.
Yep, sorry. This is just for round 3, correct?
Correct. Thank you.
Just,
While we're talking, it should be noted that Jay Churchill has more than one iPad
How do you know that?
because it says iPad 2.
Oh, but it also says John Churchill, so you must be talking about somebody else then.
That's you're in the witness protection program.
Blow that up and let's get to the bottom part there, Rosie, where the breakout is. Please, thank you.
Okay.
is that
One more
okay?
time, if you could expand that one more time for me, I'd appreciate it. All right. So there shows our split between round 1 and round 2, round 3. This is what the board had approved, or the loan committee has approved all these, and the board has not yet approved the third round. So we had initially set some projected spending amounts up to the $10 million. That's the first column on the left. We have the first round split, the second round split, and the third round split. As you'll see, we've lent more money to each area than we had initially planned, except for one, and that was a special project. Some of the special projects that Mark had set aside money for, because of the pandemic and our new ventures and are very risky, are just not moving forward. So we were able to allocate that money back to the split that we did here. And we have a pretty good split here between manufacturing, not-for-profit, agriculture, small business, and of course, tourism and hospitality, as we know, in the last 6 months, it's been 9 months since we got this award, have been the most affected and devastated by the COVID pandemic. So I will just go through. Rosie, if you want to go back out, I'm just going to go through the summaries and make you look at the entire sheet. So Blackstone Advanced Technologies has requested an equipment loan for $473,000. They're going to do the electrical work. This helps them recover from their third quarter of COVID, where they really had some slowdowns. And their bonderizer is on the verge of failing. This will make them much more efficient and effective. Lancaster Foods has a request for working capital and equipment. They've formed this company and they need some seed money to keep this going. Due to the rapid growth, they're going to have a packing machine. And again, very much affected by CARES. Last year, the Broadway Market, that was their largest source of revenue over the years, was Broadway Market. Broadway Market didn't happen last year. They lost between 60 to 80,000 in revenue. Bailey, the same thing. They were considered essential for GM. They had to shut down. We all continue to see what's happening with the automakers as some of the plants are shutting down because they can't get chips. So John has requested some machinery and equipment here that will help him, get back up and running and be much more efficient and effective. The Resource Center is going to be converting some space and some distance conference space. And again, they've been also negatively impacted by COVID. Jim Turner Sales does farm equipment. This was one loan that we had reduced. They had originally asked for $250,000 in working capital, but because they only were going to have 3 retained employees and possibly 2, we did cut that to $100,000. Same thing with Jamestown Rental Properties. Jody has sold some of his property, as you know, and paid off some of his loans to us. But some of his tenants in his existing properties are not paying. That's quite a dilemma for the landlords that have a lot of property, especially residential and commercial. So he asked for $250,000, but we cut his request. Loan committee did to $100,000. Majestic Woods, they're going to do some renovations, some machinery and equipment, and some working capital. That is a wedding venue, and this will help them get back on their feet. It looks like, they have 37 events booked for 21 and 27 for 22. So it looks like they're back on the road to recovery. Meter's Restaurant, one of my favorite restaurants in the county. They have great pie there. I'm off the pie lately, but they still have good pie. They're going to do some renovations. They realized very quickly, in order to survive, needed to change their whole menu, their whole inside. They're going to do some takeout, have some more outside, redo their kitchens to get ready for more of that takeout. So they've asked for some renovations, some equipment, and some working capital. Again, not much in Ripley, and that would be great for us to be able to help them out. Lechandro's, another great local restaurant in here. Changing ownership here. John Lechandro is finally hanging it up after, what, Carol, 50-some years he's been in that kitchen? And, Patty, who has worked for John for years, and her husband are taking over, but they want to do things a little different, and they're going to need some funds to do that. So, again, a mainstay in downtown Jamestown. So that was approved. And then last but not least, the Boat Works of Chautauqua, Bernie Hour. Bernie currently has a balloon payment due with Northwest. And if we can help him pay that down, that frees up cash flow for him to, buy rentals and buy more equipment. I mean, he's lowering his interest rate from 8% down, and really will put him in great shape. And he says the summer looks good. He's going to need boats to lease. So this is a great loan. It puts him in a perfect position to do what he needs to do. So again, that sum comes up to $2.36 million. If all of these are approved, we're actually going to approve more than the $10 million. I've spoken with the EDA, and when we get to the loan reports, you'll see we currently have cash coming back in on these loans. We have interest, we have principal. We also have the 1% commitment fee on loans that are closing. So we will generate enough cash. The EDA told me that during the disbursement phase of this award, that we would be allowed to recycle the money that comes in and use it at the same term with the no equity required, no bank participation, and at the lower interest rate. At some time, once we've dispersed all this money, they're going to move us out of the disbursement phase and into a phase where we will revert back to the same terms and conditions that are in the Alltech loan fund. But that could take up to another year and 3 months. So we'll know more. The EDA is still trying to sort it out. So presented today is the resolution. And Greg, would you like to talk about the resolution? Any questions?
Well, the resolution is similar to the ones we did on phases 1 and 2, and baked within it is a policy, just as a reminder, that should we find that I needs to be dotted or T-crossed, that we can, the administrative staff has been authorized to make those changes. So it's similar to what we've done before, and that's the presentation today.
Take any questions, Mike, if anyone has one. If I can't answer them, Linda and Carol did all of these loans, so I want to congratulate them. A lot of hard work, a lot of extra hours, and I appreciate it.
Yes, thank you very much, Linda and Carol. Great job and super results, hitting it over the park for all the categories that we had, markets in the county that we had identified. So super job. And I know all the businesses are very appreciative of these the ability to have these loans. Any questions for Rich or for Greg? All right, hearing none, I would ask Hans if you could so move new business D1.
Maybe, I don't know whether someone else should move it because I've got a conflict with the, obviously related to one of the people in the loan.
Yeah.
Hans, you can move it. It's okay.
Okay.
You just have to abstain on that one loan.
Yeah.
Okay, so move
Yeah.
then. Thanks, Greg.
Thank you, Hans, and I should have noted that. I have abstentions on some of the loans. So when you register your vote, you would register it less the loans that you need to abstain on.
Gotcha.
So thank you for that, bringing that forward, Hans.
Sure.
So motion made by Hans. Do we have a second?
Second, Mr. Chairman.
Made by Hans, seconded by Mark. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please. Mike Metzger votes aye, except must need to abstain on Blackstone and the Resource Center. Gary Henry?
Aye.
Hans Auer?
I vote aye and abstain on the Boatworks, Chautauqua Self-Storage, and Blackstone.
Thank you. Mark Odell?
Aye, with no abstentions.
Stephen Thorpe?
Aye.
You caught me there, Mark. Jay Churchill?
Aye.
Dennis Rack?
Aye.
Kelly Farrell Du Bois?
Aye.
Brad Walters?
Aye.
Let the record show that there were 9 votes affirmative with some abstentions. The motion carries. All right, thank you all again. This is incredible. This additional one to receive these monies. And thank you, Rich, and then the team, Carol and Linda, for getting these out to the community. So excellent results. Many thanks. All right, now we will skip the executive director's report and we'll move to the treasurer's report. Rich, please.
Yes, Mike, with Kayla out and the loan funds there, we're not quite finished up with the first quarter books yet. We have a replacement for Kayla who is coming in once a week and she's getting up to speed. So at May's meeting, we'll get the first quarter buttoned up tight and we'll have that report then.
That's fine, very understandable. And we wish, of course, Kayla and her family well with her new addition. Now I'd like to entertain a motion to move to executive session for discussion of particular companies and or personnel or acquisitions.
So move, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mark. And who was the second?
Brad.
Brad. Motion made by Mark, seconded by Brad. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Okay, tell us when we're in executive session, Rosie. And as always, thank you for being our producer.